Okay, welcome to this Zen meeting. It's very funny, I just misspoke. If you notice, it should be Zoom meeting, but I said Zen meeting. And this is because I'm planning to discuss something about Zen today. So welcome, we have many friends today. So we're going to start with a simple meditation. So we're going to close our eyes together. Going to sit in a comfortable way, relax our bodies. Okay, so when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room where you're sitting. So to start the meeting, I'm going to invite a few people to share what has happened for them in this meditation. It's a way of saying hello. We've got one or two people we haven't met before. They might like to introduce themselves by sharing right now. Somebody needs somebody to start. Who would like to start? I think is that Kashi waving her hand? You're going to start, Kashi? Can we bring Kashi into the meeting?
Am I there? Yes, hello. It is immediately quiet in my head. Sometimes a thought is passing by, but it became quiet. I felt some body sensations, as if the streaming of the blood, and I hear the heater zooming. I think it's the heater. So, and then I see thoughts come by, and I grab the thought, and I let it go again. But it is pretty quiet then in my head. I can see that I go into the thought, and after a very short while, I think, oh no, let go.
Okay, good. Well, I think you're obviously very quiet if you can see this thing where the thoughts are coming and then you're grabbing the thoughts. Because this is somehow what we're doing, which of course makes the thoughts, we're very attached then to the thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
And thoughts by themselves can come and go, and without really disturbing our basic being there, our basic presence. But as soon as we grab them, of course, then the stories start.
The stories start, and I feel also kind of expanding if I'm really in the silence. When it is really silence. But
right. Good. Okay, thank you for sharing. Somebody else like to share? We have Tom and Jerry with us. Maybe we invite Tom or Jerry to share. Excuse me, Tom and Robin.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Yeah, you want to say something?
You can see why we call them Tom and Jerry. Okay.
I think I was just arriving here when you said you can, like, when we started with the meditation, I kind of arrived in the present moment because I had a quite busy day. I just came from work, and just sitting there and noticing what was there in my body, and At first, I think it was just my body there, the warmth of my body and just my being like this. And then more and more, I was aware of the watcher kind of and the presence.
Right. Right. Good.
So think deeper within, my muscles kind of relaxed and I kind of felt some expansion, I think. It was nice.
Okay. Good. Good. Okay. Over to you, Tom.
Hi. For me, it was, well, there was nothing. It was just emptiness. And the second round, I felt some body sensation, but it always wasn't happening in the emptiness, in the space of nothing. And I was very relaxed and I felt very comfortable.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Right. So it seems what happened to you in the last weeks has continued. A lot of nothingness.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Good.
also, yeah, thinking about what to do in the future. It's another.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody else like to share what happened in this short meditation? I think we have somebody there, Beate. I'm not sure if I know you. Have we met before? Would you like to share something? Oh, there she is.
Yes.
Did we meet before?
No, we never met before.
Ah, very good, very good.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Okay. Would you like to share a little bit?
Yeah, I'm having a strong pain in my stomach right now. So it was much resistance to go there and to stay. But after a time, it felt like this one big sensation was actually many tiny ones. And the single ones are not that fearful and not that painful. So I could even feel that I can breathe a little deeper into that. And the pain wasn't getting worse. That's what I thought. If I go there, it's getting worse. But it was actually different. So the pain wasn't that pain any longer. It was just a mix of several sensations. And it's still there, but it's not that overwhelming that it was before.
Oh, that's a good result.
Yeah.
And where are you sitting? Which part of the world are you sitting?
I'm in Cologne, so it's
you're in
around the
Cologne.
corner. Yes.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. Well, I've been here for nearly 18 years now, so perhaps we'll meet sometime.
Yeah, it would be great.
In the next 18 years.
Still a chance, yeah.
Okay, very nice. Okay, somebody else? We've got Luigi from Italy, I see. Would you like to say hello, Luigi?
Hello, John David. Hello, everyone.
Right.
Well,
it's nice to see you sitting there. Reminds me of my wonderful travels to Italy and back again. Yeah.
Just this morning, I have been in the same place where we had the interview with the big landscape.
Right. Beautiful place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I can share this. I started the meditation with a lot of chaos outside of the room with my family louding.
Right.
So closing the eyes with the first 2 rounds, I contact the witness who was looking all this chaos, and also some words in the mind. And the nice thing is that for me, doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter. It's like it can't touch me, you know. And at the third round, silence, and to be live, witnessing right now. And actually, there is also silence outside of the room.
I want to congratulate you for your fantastic job you made in writing all the books you have published and all the encounters you had with so many gurus, Indian and Western gurus, and I just saw your movies and read your books, and I feel I just want to congratulate you for your fantastic job you made.
Okay, well, of course, it's very lovely to hear your words because it's a lot of work, but actually it was a great gift to me personally in my life. These interviews that you mentioned started with a kind of inner message when I was living in the north of India with my master, Punjaji or Papaji.
Yes.
I was sitting having breakfast one day and I got an inner message that told me I must go and film the Indian masters. And that's what happened. But it wasn't really my own doing. It was a very beautiful kind of mystery traveling, you could say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you known when you were either with Osho or Papaji, someone named Madhukar Thompson?
Yes.
Madhukar Thompson, who also wrote books about all these, he says,
different masters.
Madhukar Thompson
wrote about different masters, yeah? He interviewed different masters.
Yes, and he's like you, he has a wide perspective, you know, very wide perspective of so many teachings, so many gurus, and like you did, it's not restricted, sectarian, it's very wide.
Right, right.
This is what I like.
He was a friend. He was a friend of mine, actually, Monica.
Who?
He was a friend. We were friends. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and I love, and unhappily he died in a motor accident.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm sure he was very, very wise because he's, you know, he spent so many times with Osho, like you, with Punjaji, with Ramesh Balsekar, and so it's a bit like you, but you made movies and more, but this is the same way of being very wide and see so many gurus, and each guru has his own path, and each guru is right, and so are completely different and contradictory. And this is what I like in your job, fantastic job, is your wideness, you know, understand? Wideness.
Right. Have you
Yes.
seen the new book? It's called Meetings with Remarkable People.
Yes, I just bought it yesterday.
Okay, good, good.
Yes, it's a new one.
Yeah, this is the most recent book, and it has some very interesting characters in there. And
yes,
beautiful homages. We have a homage to Osho and Papaji and Neem Karoli Baba.
yes,
Yes. Do you know Neem Karoli Baba?
yes, yes.
He was the guru of a small group of Americans.
Guru Baba Ramdas.
Yes.
He was Baba Ramdas Guru.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Baba, Baba Ramdas was Richard Halpert's guru.
Right. Right. Okay. Good. Okay. Well, come and see us sometime. Paris is not so far.
Yes,
I'm living
yes.
with a group of people in a beautiful old mansion, and we are very available to be visited. So, and yeah, it's very nice to have the connection again to Paris. It's a long time since I came to Paris. Yeah.
Yes, maybe.
And if you look on my new website, we have it in French now.
Yes, I saw it yesterday. Yes.
We've just constructed a new website with about 6 different languages, and
Yes.
we have in French.
I saw it yesterday.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, nice. Okay, that's a beautiful to meet Patrick. Who else have we got who I don't know? Ah, Steve. What about Steve? Would you like to come through, Steve? I'm not sure if we know each other.
Hello. No, we don't know each other, but I heard many about you, and that's the first time that I see you in live online.
Okay.
I'm happy that I'm here. Thank you for this option that you make it possible.
I see from your room that you're very much into white.
Yeah, that's right. it's for me. So like
you're wearing a white shirt.
Yeah, but I have black shorts.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yes, then we can see you. Yeah. Otherwise, you get lost in your room.
Yeah, maybe like camouflage, like a ton.
Right. And where are you in the world?
I live in Vienna, as Austria.
Okay. Right.
In Vienna, yeah.
Okay. Good. Would you like to share something from the meditation?
Well, when you want, for sure. So at first, the first round, I felt my stomach a little bit, and at the second, it was the feelness was away, and I heard my stereo sound system a little bit because it's making noise. But at the third round, it was really silence, and it felt good. So I felt my being, like only calm down, and yeah, not many thoughts. So a little bit, but not so. It was nice.
Good. Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay. Somebody else? I see, then I see Kamala there. Kamala looks, okay. Would you like to share something, Kamala? Living in our community.
Yeah. Yeah, in the beginning, it was a bit noisy in my head, and strong, like body sensations were the strongest. And then in the last round, actually most of the times when you say, give yourself the permission to fall deeper, then this works. So this was when I finally settled and arrived here in this meeting.
Good. Okay. You look comfortable there.
Yeah, it's my favorite chair.
Attic of our community. She lives in the roof. Okay. Bhakti, I see Bhakti there. Would you like to share, Bhakti? Can you open Bhakti?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Before, I was alone in my room, and then now when I came into the Zoom, and suddenly so many people, and then my heart was a bit exciting.
Oh, bless you. Okay, we see you now. Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, in the beginning, kind of like exciting with many people. Yeah, what I want to share is like last time. Can I say something? Not about this meditation.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, last time when I talked with you, just only two of us drinking coffee, that time something happened in my inside.
Okay.
Then, yeah, it's difficult to say by words, but like I feel like you have the fire on the candle, and then I have candle, but still not fire is on.
Right.
Then like your fire is really close to me,
right.
and my candle has fire that
right.
time.
Right.
Kind
right.
of like that kind of feeling.
Right. Right.
And something, yeah. After that, I'm pretty like the things are pretty easygoing. And then yeah, like little more like peaceful and little more happier.
Right. Right. So your candle is still burning.
That time was very big.
Right.
And now, I really wanted to not, this fire is gone.
Right.
But now still very little bit.
Right.
Still, I think so.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
But the way you describe this candle, the candle is, if you like, passing the flame. This is actually a beautiful symbol for how a master is working or a teacher is working with his student or disciple, that it's the flame is passed. In fact, today I'm going to talk about this in a moment. I'm going to share a little bit more, and then I'm planning to talk about some Chinese Zen masters and the way that they pass the flame from the master to the disciple. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So what you're describing, of course, is very lovely. And this is one of the great mysteries, actually.
Yes.
Because what you're really describing is a moment when your heart opened. And it just happens. Yeah. John David certainly didn't do anything. And Bhakti didn't do anything. But some kind of magic happens. And then you feel, another way to describe it probably is your heart opened and you felt actually a lot of love. But you also can say that this love is not personal. It's not, you didn't fall in love with John David. You've told me before you don't like him so much even. But there was some kind of love there, a kind of impersonal love. This, of course, is the most beautiful love, because love is actually our own essence. Everybody's essence is love. Everything you can say is love. But it's not the I'm falling in love with you kind of love. It's another more authentic, deeper kind of love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Somehow like I taste a little bit that.
Right.
Yeah, and that healed me so much.
Right.
And anyway, from my experience in my life, I'm pretty tired with this fall in love.
Right.
Fall in love. This is really tired. So I really longing to this love.
Right.
Yeah. So it was, for me, it's really grateful.
Right.
Really grateful. Yes.
So we're all waiting to hear when you're coming to live with us, Bhakti, because we all love you a lot, not in the way of we love you, as love, but in this essence we'd like to share with you. Bhakti is a wonderful player of the piano, and you light up our community when you're here.
I also love to be there. If I am German, much easier.
Yeah?
I think so.
Well, I think you are part of the common market, so it's probably easy for you. Yeah. Yeah. If you have any practical problems like what you've just said, then get in touch with us and maybe we can help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, good, good. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody like to volunteer? Somebody feels to share, say hello. We have a couple, I think, Gadia. I don't see the other name, but just Gadia I can see. Would you like to say something?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You look like you might be Italian. Are you? Huh?
Sorry?
Yeah.
From Italy?
Italian. No, we are from Spain.
From Spain. Okay.
Yeah, from Denia.
Ah, you're the guys teaching yoga in our community.
Yeah, we say hello to you last week.
Ah, okay, good. Now I recognize. Yeah. Very nice. I understand you're helping with the construction.
Yeah. Today we are building a new room in the center.
Right. Yeah, this is maybe not for today, but we're going to start sending out a newsletter to talk about how the new community is developing. So you're right there at the beginning. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right. Okay. And your yoga class is going well? You're building up?
Slowly, yeah.
Yeah. It's not so easy a lot of people giving yoga classes. So
Yeah. We also do meditation.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and speak about, well, depending on the day. But we mix meditation and yoga also.
Good. Right.
And singing both and what.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think there's going to be a concert on Monday. Yeah. Did you know that?
Mantra chanting.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to go also.
Okay. Because Kieran is one of our most active musicians and he loves doing mantra evenings.
Yeah.
It's a great
really nice. Yeah, really nice. Okay. We went already one time. It was really nice.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, good. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so okay, I think is there anybody else who would like to offer themselves? And then I'm going to introduce something. So anybody want to jump forward? Okay. So today I'd like to introduce something because as I mentioned just now, I have a new website and this is quite exciting because the website I've been using, I designed with a friend 22 years ago. And people kept telling me, it's really out of date. Nobody can use it. You've got to have a new one. And I always resisted it because somehow I always found my website very unusual. But in the end, I had to kind of give up the idea about it. And we've made now a new website. And when we finished this website, the person who was designing it told me, you've got to have a blog. And I said, well, what's a blog? And so now if you look on my website, I have a blog. And what I'm doing with this blog is I'm putting up on the blog different spiritual texts, which I find interesting. At the moment, most of them are from myself, but I'm beginning to introduce other things. And today I'm going to talk about the third Zen patriarch. So there's a beautiful story which I got when I was sitting with Osho, that the Buddha sent somebody called Bodhidharma to China. And when he arrived in China, apparently, according to Osho's story, the emperor of China came to the border to meet Bodhidharma. And Bodhidharma was riding a horse. and the emperor asked him some question. And the answer was that Bodhidharma put his shoe on his head. That was his answer. And then later, Bodhidharma was sitting in a cave, and the story goes that he sat in this cave for 15 years facing a wall before he felt to turn. And finally, after 15 years, he turned around and he passed on the teaching to somebody called Huken. These names are a bit difficult because basically they're all Chinese names, so probably I'm not pronouncing the right name. But anyway, somebody called Heiku after 15 years. And so the Buddha's teachings were transmitted to China and became Shan, which is in Japanese Zen. So this is a very beautiful moment. And there's another man who is the third patriarch. So the first was Bodhidharma, and then this Heiku, and then the third was Sosan. And he was the one who's written a very beautiful spiritual poem, rather famous poem, I think. And so I want to read a little bit of that today. But before I read that, I want to just say that Suzanne spent 6 years with his master, Huke. And so there's a famous transmission. So while Suzanne was spending this time with his master, there came a day when he said to his master, "I'm riddled with sickness. Please absolve me of my sin." And Heiko said, "Bring your sin here and I will absolve you." And then Suzanne, after a long pause, "When I look for my sin, I cannot find it." And then Haiku said, "I've absorbed you. You should live by the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha." So this little conversation was a kind of symbolic moment of transmission. So you can say this was the moment when Suzanne became awakened or self-realized or enlightened, whichever word you use. So this is a very dramatic moment. And later he wrote this poem. So I'm going to read, if you're interested in the whole poem, it's rather long. It's now on my blog. And I've also put on my blog a short version. So the short version is just two verses of the poem. And it starts off, "The great way is not difficult for those who have no preference. When not attached to love or hate, all is clear and undisguised. Separate by the smallest amount, however, and you are as far from it as heaven is from earth. If you wish to know the truth, then hold to no opinions for or against anything. To set up what you like against what you dislike is the disease of the mind." So this is the first poem. I'm going to read it another time. "The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. When not attached to love or hate, all is clear and undisguised. Separate by the smallest amount, however, and you are as far from it as heaven is from earth. If you wish to know the truth, then hold to no opinions for or against anything. To set up what you like against what you dislike is the disease of the mind." So I strongly recommend this poem. It's really very, very powerful poem. And you can see from these first two verses that it's very uncompromising. He's really talking about the ultimate truth. And of course, the ultimate truth is not to be attached to our mind. If you're not attached to your mind, then you don't need to be constantly in this game of deciding I like that, but I don't like that. So we constantly make this opinions, and we somehow believe our opinions and our ideas that we like red, but we don't like black, or we like white, but we don't like something else. So this is a constant game which our mind tends to play. And in a way, it's completely automatic. It's just constantly running and running and running. But when you actually wake up from the mind, when you become unattached from the mind, then you find that there's another way to exist from day to day, from moment to moment, which is without having any choices, no choices. Everything is, you could say, yes. There's just a yes. This tantra, this word tantra has become very popular in the West, a bit like yoga and tantra. And tantra basically is a philosophy of yes. So it's exactly, you could say this is exactly not only a Zen script, but this is also a tantra script, because tantra is a philosophy where everything is accepted, everything, there's a basic yes for everything that happens. And we don't anymore think about whether we like this or we don't like this. For example, today, I have two little girls in my life. Even though I'm, as you see, rather old, I have two little girls in my life. And we all woke up together this morning and we had a wonderful hour together. It was very, very beautiful, with them running around, playing with different stuff, playing with each other, a bit fighting with each other, of course, and so on. So I had a wonderful meeting with them. And then later there was something very strong happening in my community, in our community. And this was definitely something I could say I don't like. In the same way as I can say, well, I really liked that hour with my girls this morning. But if you don't say I like that and I don't like that, then actually everything that comes to you in your life is simply coming to you because that's actually your life. Life is like that. There's a certain flow of life. And if you can accept that flow of your life, then everything that happens to you is exactly necessary to happen to you in order for you to become free. That's assuming, of course, that the people, I think most of the people I can see on the Zoom today are people who are very committed to coming to a true freedom. And part of this true freedom, of course, has got to be a freedom from liking and disliking. I don't know if anybody would like to pick up this conversation. We can have some more dialogue. Yeah. So this is an introduction. If you'd like to share, you just indicate with your hand that you'd like it to be open, the sound to be open.
Yes, can I speak?
Okay, yeah, good. Patrick from Paris.
Yes. Thank you, John, to have read this poem. I don't know if you know a man named Wayne Lee Corman. Wayne Lee Corman.
I don't think
Wayne, so. He's a successor of Ramesh Balsekar.
Okay. Okay. Yes, yes. I think he's been to Paris, hasn't he?
Oh, yes. I've seen him since 15 years.
Yeah.
And with very much respect to you, I would say this. I think he read this poem written by a man maybe 10 years ago, and he read the poem with a new edition 10 years after. And the first edition was what you read, is not have no preference. And the second one is a little bit different, but for me it was very pertinent. It's not he have no preference, he's not attached to his preference. And because Wayne said, and it was a little bit my mistake because I've been in spirituality for 40 years, and Wayne and Ramesh said that if a man has no preference, he's death. Every man has preferences and likes and dislikes, but the sage is not attached to his preference. And for a long time, I tried to have no preference, no like and dislikes, and I became neurotic because it's not possible. And Ramesh said that, Ramesh Valsekar, that it's a tofu, it's death, it's impossible. So just I wanted to add, if you allow me, and with very much respect to you, the difference between having no preference, no likes and dislike, and having but not being attached to them.
Right, right. No, this is a good point, of course. That's exactly another way to understand this poem, I would say, because this is a very ancient poem. And the translation now is in English, but originally it would have been written probably in Chinese. And so the word attachment wasn't, how can I say, didn't get through in the translation because the person who translated perhaps didn't see that that aspect of this poem. And I think the intention of this poem, even if it doesn't exactly say that in English, is, as you say, not to be attached. You know, if you go to the ice cream shop and, you know, bring 20 different colors or flavors, yeah, then you can say, well, I don't like strawberry, I like vanilla, you know. But in another way, you can see in that moment, standing there with all the possible flavors, that actually they're all good. They're just simply different. Things are more like difference than you have to choose, yes, I like strawberry or I like vanilla or something like this. Yeah. So it's possible in a way to go through life without actually so much strong liking and disliking. This is also possible, I think. For me, it's most of the time it's like that. Yeah, yeah. I think Steve wants to join in. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. What's the difference for you between the reality and the dream when you are sleeping? What's for you the difference?
What is the difference between sleeping and waking?
Dreaming, yeah, when you have a dream when you're sleeping, or the reality when you are awake like this, you know?
Right, right. Well, personally, I tend not to dream very much. Okay. Actually, I think it was last night, actually, I had a dream and it felt very real. And this dream, when I would talk about it now, it was set off by a film I watched. So last night I watched a film. It was a film about Judy Garland, an American singer. And there was a scene where Judy Garland came to a hotel and they refused her to give her a room because she hadn't paid her account from the last visit. So it was a very strong moment in this film, in this very posh hotel. This kind of rather desperate woman with her 2 children, and they told her, no, you can't stay. Yeah. And this, I mean, the whole film was maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours, but there must have been something about that particular scene in the hotel, because last night I had a dream about a hotel. I can't really remember the dream now, except it was all about a hotel, what was happening in this hotel. And so somehow in the mind had picked up that particular scene in the film and had how can I say, had activated it during my sleep time. And so I had quite a vivid dream, which actually I don't really remember, except that I know it was about a hotel. So generally I don't dream, but there is an example of a dream. And how can I say, it's clearly different from my waking time. So that dream, the quality of that dream, okay, I just got a little information here. So that the quality of that dream I had last night is completely different to the quality of my waking time. But also I can say that my waking time is not really as solid. I don't know if this is really making sense, but it's not really as solid as it would have been some years ago. So some years ago, I was, how can I describe? I was perhaps completely believing the daily life, you know, that the daily life was a kind of real solid thing happening moment by moment. And that this happening from moment to moment was very important in my life, or something like this. Like, it's hard to talk about. But I can say now in my life, many, many things happen each day. I live in a community with 20 people, so a lot of stuff happens. And in a certain moment, it may feel very real. In the moment of happening, it may be very real in that moment. But fairly quickly, it has the quality of a dream. So it has the quality of what I was describing happening to me last night. In that way, I can say that the waking time and the dream time has something similar.
I ask you because sometimes I dream and I know exactly that I'm sleeping, you know, that I have a dream. So I can make in this dream everything what I want. There is no border. I can do everything. I can fly, I can do everything. And sometimes in reality, it feels also that seems like a dream, you know. It's not really real. For sure I'm awake, but it's like it is, you know. That yeah, it's completely to say, but I want to ask you how you see the difference. But thank you for that you share with us your dream and
yeah, I think you know, as we become more interested in investigating our life and ourselves, then things that used to be maybe very concrete become much less concrete. So things that, you know, maybe the society would basically would say, oh, it's like this, you start to discover, a bit like experiencing on an LSD trip, you start to see that actually life is not really quite as solid as it seemed to be in the society life, if you like. There's a difference between what the society holds as real and what you can discover to be real in your own investigations. And of course, that affects the quality of life. And probably I would say in my own case, I've been doing these investigations for, I don't know, 40 years. I would say that probably for me, the most powerful change in that investigation was a moment of realization. When this happened, somehow everything changed. So it was a particularly powerful moment.
Thank you.
Wow, we're having a very nice meeting today. Somebody else like to come on, talking about this Zen poem or something else? I don't mind, everything is open. Kashi?
Yes, I about it is about not attached, being not attached about those feelings, but the feelings of joy or if something feels irritating, they are there. And I notice in myself that it is also good to say yes to that feelings, just to be for a moment with that feeling that it is something irritating or you or is happening, and then I can more easily let it go. So it is about not feeding the 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 thoughts about something. Do I understand that right?
But at the same time accepting whatever is there.
Yeah,
for a moment.
yeah.
And it's a bit like not allowing it to land, not allowing it to become kind of solid, or you could say not allowing yourself to become attached to it.
Yes.
A bit like bubbles, bubbles come and bubbles disappear.
Yeah.
They're real, bubbles are real for the moment, and then
then it
goes away.
Yeah.
I just realized we have an old friend on the Zoom. Would Sarah, is it Sarah? Probably not. I gave her the name Sarah, somebody I haven't seen for many years. Would you like to come through and say hello?
Hello.
Hello. How do you pronounce your name?
Sarah.
Sarah. Okay.
You have also a new name, John David.
David is a very old name. Yeah. And so is Sarah a Sufi name?
Yeah, it's also Islamic name. Yeah, Sufi name. Sarah was the woman of Ibrahim.
Okay. All right. So we have a friend of yours staying in the community now.
I know, he invited me for tonight, and so I thought I joined. Yeah.
Right.
Nice to see you.
And your daughter, is she there? Is it a daughter or a son? You have a child, I understand.
Yes, I have a child now. She's 3 years old, and she's with her father now. For the weekend, she's mostly with her father, yeah.
Okay, right. And you know that I have these two little girls in my life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. How old are they?
They're 4.5.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I can hear them in the background now. They're having a good time. They have very good time in our community. So
yeah, I can imagine.
Come and visit us. You better bring your daughter.
Yes, actually, I had the inspiration to visit Timo and to visit all of you. I'm also very happy to see you, and yeah, also a bit excited actually in a moment. yeah.
I'm going to Ukraine next week, but when I come back, you're welcome. Yeah. And maybe you heard that Timur is thinking of joining our community.
Yeah, he told me that. I think it's a very good decision.
Okay. And where do you live?
I live in the Eifel, you know, Eifel.
Right. It's near Cologne, I think, yeah?
Yeah, like 1 hour, yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay, well, maybe we see you in, I don't know, a week or so.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Okay, then.
Would you like to make some comments about this?
About this poem?
About not having preferences?
Yes, it's also in our teaching. Also in the Sufi teaching, it's also like this. Yeah, I mean, but there's some stuff which is, I have a bit a different view on it, you know. I think it's the moving the mind, and everything what happens is because Allah wanted. I mean, we say Allah, but you say the being, or yeah. But everything what happens, the good and the bad, have a deeper reason. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, so
yeah.
And yes, I mean.
So you're very much, it sounds like you've become very much of a Sufi.
Yeah, it's my way now. I love it's the way of love, no? For me, it's like this, yeah.
Okay,
so.
And well, I mean, Sufi isn't the only way of love, you know. I can think.
I know.
Everything is the way of love, because everything.
Our teacher always say that. He say there are many ways to the source, many ways to the heart or to inside. I mean, what is the question? We say we don't have to look for love in outside. We have to look everything inside of us. What is the barrier? I don't know. What is between? Yeah, what is preventing us from being in love or from being present? Yeah.
From being.
And that's different layers, you know. We call it like veils. The veils which are of our heart. It's our patterns, personality structures, many stuff, and we have to go through this. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And your teacher or master, is he the same sheikh who used to come to our community? We used to invite the Sufi music group, or band, and it was a sheikh who was leading a group of Sufis. Is he your teacher now?
He's he's the one who is where I can talk to, where I can but the real grand master, like the big sheikh, is Sheikh Mehmet, and he's in Cyprus.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have, like, in every country we have people who already pretty free and they're the people which you can go to, like, yeah. Not thousands of people can go to the Grand Sheikh all the time if they have something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we several people from our community and myself, we visited him in the Eiffel somewhere. There was
He told me that, yeah. I told him once that I was in your place before.
Yeah, we haven't met him for some time, but he used to come quite regularly to play music here. Very nice man, yeah. He likes to make jokes, I think, if I remember.
Yes, very funny man.
Yeah.
Very lovely man, yeah. In the moment, in the Corona time, of course, there are no concerts, and yeah. So.
Right. Okay, nice to see you again. Good. Okay. So, somebody else like to come through?
Hola.
Here we have Rajen in our community, Spain, in Denver. Oh, we have the whole gang down there. Here's Pedro. Is Kieran there? Is Kieran?
He's around. I think he's probably working.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. So for me, acceptance has been a very big topic lately. And I find, for instance, in meditation, I mean, as you have advised before many times, that simply when I accept whatever comes, then what comes and goes disappears very quickly, and it does not need to land anywhere, because it is just seen as something, and it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just coming and going, and then automatically it leads to silence. And also in my kind of outer life, acceptance of whatever is happening and coming to me, and especially this kind of topic, I would say, service or selfless service more and more something that I'm embracing. And it feels like I don't have any choice. So
yeah. You've come to that just in the right moment, yeah, because we've known you for some years, and that's always the strongest elements of your character. But now with new community developing, and you're I don't know what we just called you, the manager-in-chief or the organizer-in-chief of the new community, it's a perfect moment for you to get in touch with selfless service.
Yeah, the timing is good for sure. So yeah, it's this feeling of in some way everything is taken care of, and that I just need to follow the flow. And yeah, also not just accepting what comes inside, but also what comes from the outside in some way. And yeah, you spoke about dreams, and last night I remember now that it felt very vividly that Ram Dass kind of came to me in a dream and gave me some kind of blessing. And it felt it was like not connected to any other dream, it just came through. And yeah, I had no idea why, but for me, he's kind of like manifesting this selfless service or acceptance of life that I talked about. So maybe there's something about this.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting you would say that, because this morning through the internet, there was an email announcing a new book. It's called Being Ram Dass, and you can order it now, and it's available in January. And this is a book about his life and teaching. I'll send you the email. Maybe that's interesting for you. And also tonight in our community, we're watching a new film about Neem Karoli Baba. And again, if you guys are interested down there, I can send you the link so that you can also watch it. And in fact, anybody else who has an interest about Neem Karoli Baba, who was the guru of the American Ram Dass, if you're interested, it's a very beautiful film that they've made recently. And it's available this week for free. So you can watch it on the internet for free this week. So if anybody who's watching would like to have the password for that film, if you send an email after this meeting, I'll send you the password and the contact for watching this film. It's quite a long film, and it's set in India, very strongly amongst the ordinary people of India. And all kind of amazing stories about things that happened. Those of you who don't know Neem Karoli Baba, you maybe don't know the story about how he stopped a train. So he was sitting in the first class part of a train, and it pulled into a village which was actually called Neem Karoli. Neem Karoli was the name of a small village, and the train stopped there. And the inspector came through the train, and when he discovered Neem Karoli Baba sitting in the first class, he pushed him off the train. He said, "You can't travel on the train," because, of course, he was dressed like a sadhu. He used to wear just a blanket around him and a dhoti. So he was pushed off the train, and he sat down under a tree in this village, which is called Neem Karoli. In those days, he had a different name. And they couldn't get the train to start. So the train sat there in this small village, and everything they tried, they couldn't get the train to run. And finally, everybody's getting very, very excited, and people said, "Well, you see this Baba who you told to get off the train, you need to go and apologize to him." And then he wasn't called Neem Karoli Baba in those days, but anyway, Neem Karoli Baba said, "Okay, so you need to build a platform. You need to build a railway station in this village, and then I'll get back on the train and everything will be fine." So that's what happened. The railway, organizers, they agreed to build a small station in this village, and that the trains would stop in this village. And in return, he got back on the train, and the train would start. The famous story about Neem Karoli Baba. And that's why it's called Neem Karoli, because that was the name of this small village where this train story happened. So I guess most people don't know that story. Anyway, I've looked at 10 minutes of this film. It's pretty wonderful. It really gives a fantastic atmosphere of India. And unfortunately, this year our community can't go to India because of the virus. So yeah, we're going to reminisce a bit tonight watching the film. So Being Ramdas, it looks like a very nice book. And I was talking earlier about remarkable meetings with remarkable people, which is my most recent book. We've got it in English at the moment and German. I'd be happy if anybody would help us translate it into other languages. And it has a very beautiful chapter about Ramdas. I don't know if you've seen that, but he was, the end of his life, he had become paralyzed on one side. And he lived in one of the Hawaiian islands, Maui. And every Monday he would go down, well, his assistants would take him down onto the beach and he would go for a swim. And it became a kind of ritual where lots of the spiritual people living in Maui would come and join him for this swim. So there might be 30, 40, 50 people all swimming around Ramdas, and they would sing a song, which is in this article in the book. So it was very, very beautiful. And then Ramdas would invite everybody to a restaurant for lunch. Okay, good. So we have a bit more time, maybe one more person. Somebody else like to share? Is there anybody?
I would like to share.
Okay.
Hello?
Who is that?
That's Kamala.
Kamala again, okay, right.
Yeah, I was today in a situation where I was talking with somebody, and then somehow it happened what you described in the beginning. I didn't have an opinion really, or I couldn't figure out like what is right or what is wrong or whatever. There was just, yeah. And then there was suddenly I had this feeling, well, who am I now actually? Because I'm so used to know what I think or to have an opinion and to identify myself with this. And this was a really strong moment, because I felt like somehow the need to take on a social role in which I have a opinion or something to say at least. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe you don't have to take on a social role and have an opinion. You know? Maybe this is an idea of the society that everybody should have an opinion, you know, but actually maybe we don't really need to involve ourselves, because if we involve ourselves, what you're really involving is the mind deciding, you know, yes, I like this, or yes, I don't like that, you know, one or the other. You're making a choice actually. And the reality is that for most people, the choice they're making is based on how they've been conditioned. So if you've been conditioned in the Sufi way, you'll have a kind of opinion that Allah is doing something. If you've been conditioned in a Christian way, then, you know, it's from the Christian point of view. So better not to have any movement in liking and disliking. But this is not really something you can somehow decide to do that, because we all do have opinions, you know, we all do like something or dislike something. We're constantly making this choice, liking and disliking all the time in our lives. And as Patrick was saying from Paris, it's almost impossible to live without any opinion. You know, it's just part of human nature that we constantly choose yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. I like it, I don't like it. I like it, I don't like it. But I think that in fact it is possible to, it's almost like, how can I say, it's almost like at some moment in your life when you really come to truth, it all kind of falls away by itself. So the mind is not in the driving seat anymore. There's something deeper which is actually your own essence, which is in the driving seat. And our own essence is love. And love doesn't hold an opinion for something or against something. But this is not something you can do when you're still attached to the mind. When you're still in the mind, in the ego, then inevitably you're conditioned in certain ways, with certain ideas, with certain beliefs, and therefore you're going to have certain opinions one way or the other, constantly, all the time. And I don't think you can sit and say, okay, I'm not going to have an opinion anymore, because inevitably you do have an opinion. So the escape, there's only, if you like, one escape, and one escape is you're no longer attached to the mind. When you become free of the mind, then just by itself, one of the fruits of that, you can say, is that these choices somehow disappear.
How does it feel for you, actually? I mean, this, because you told the story in the beginning of this is something that I like and something that I don't like. But where is this, I don't know, in relation to this space of not judging?
I think I have, in my case, I've now achieved some understanding where I see the whole of life as a kind of leela, a kind of play. And therefore, there's good plays and not so good plays. You can judge it like that, but actually in the end, it's not really like that. And this is something where I have to give a lot of credit to my daughters, because Amelia and Naomi, I watch them playing, for example, and they're constantly enjoying everything. And there's no choice going on whether they like something or they don't like something. For example, they've got a sand tray in the garden. They have a sand tray, and one of them could build a sandcastle. Well, they do build a sandcastle in the sand tray. And then the other one comes along and has lots of fun to jump on it. Okay. And she has as much fun jumping on it as the other one had in building it. Well, I can't judge that, of course, but basically it looks like that. They both have lots of fun, one from building and the other from breaking, And so kids are very good to remind us of these basic truths, I think, that life is a play and not to take it very seriously. If we take life very, very seriously, then we probably are also the kind of person that has definite opinions for everything. Yes, no. But when this can all gradually deconstruct all these opinions, just deconstruct. Is that okay?
Yeah, do you sometimes, I don't know, filter, or when there's something coming, is this just going through, or is there some kind of pause and then coming back to something else? I don't know.
I think it depends, so many things happen. Life is full of happenings. So most of these happenings are coming and going very easily. And other things kind of stick, you could say, like stick, because they're touching maybe stronger things. So they're sticking. But in the end, they also dissolve. They may stick a bit longer, but then they also dissolve. As you know, probably, I have a strong situation in the community today. And that kind of sticks very strongly because that brings up an incredible amount of sadness that two people could make the decisions they've been making this week. So that is sticking very strongly inside me, I can say, right now today, because it brings up many, many different aspects, So in that kind of case, it doesn't just pass through, it I would say sticks for some time. But I've had many times the same situation, actually. because I've been involved in this community for many years. And we had many times pretty much similar situations between people. And therefore, you know, after some time, it dissolves. Okay? Not okay, but anyway. So I want to finish with something which is particularly touching John David, actually, because, where is it? Yeah. So earlier I told the story of how the third patriarch became the third patriarch. How he had told his master that he was full of sickness. Do you remember this dialogue? He said, "I'm riddled with sickness." And then his master replied and said, "Bring your sin here and I will absolve you." And then Sozan said, "Well, actually, when I look for sin, I can't find it." And this, when I read this the other day, I was very touched because while I was with Papaji, in the first 2 or 3, well, it was 3 or 4 weeks when I was sitting with him, we had 3 dialogues together. And the second dialogue I had was exactly the same dialogue. You've heard this story before, but many of the people watching today probably haven't heard it. So in this second meeting with Papaji, I said to Papaji, I have many blocks. How to get rid of my blocks? I had come from Osho's ashram, and in his ashram, they had a big therapy department. And we were always talking about blocks, you know, that you should go and do that workshop because it will help you get rid of your blocks. So I was very much in this lingo about blocks. So I asked Papaji how to get rid of my blocks. And I was actually imagining that him, I didn't know him very well, it was just after 2 or 3 weeks, that he would have some fantastic kind of practice, you know, I could do to get rid of my blocks. And his answer was, "Show me your blocks." And I remember that I was really, I just sat there. I couldn't respond to that. It was a very powerful moment. And Papaji didn't say anything. He was just keeping quiet. I couldn't talk because I was kind of in some kind of shock. And we had eye contact. And he was kind of smiling at me in a funny way. And later, my friends told me that I had nearly lost my marbles in that moment. They could feel the strong energy of this meeting. And then I had one more meeting with him, and then I did lose my marbles. So this was very interesting for me to discover that this is actually a pretty classic kind of moment, maybe that everybody comes to. That when you're really ready, something's going to happen with your teacher, and you, how can I say it? Everything just collapses, you could say. So in Zen, there are many, many stories of how the master transmits the flame. We were talking earlier about the candle, the lighted candle transmitting to the unlighted candle. And in Zen particularly, they have many, many stories about how that transmission happens. Of course, every moment is kind of unique. But I think in essence, it's a moment when the master, knowing you very, very well, because you've maybe been visiting the master or listening to the master, how in some moment he is able to give you the, if you like, the final hit, you know, the final hit. And as you may know, Zen masters used to have a little stick and they kind of tap you on the head in some kind of right moment. That was one of the ways they passed on the flame. Okay, good. So, okay, so I'm going to say goodbye now. It's been a very lovely meeting. It's great to have so many new people. And I'm doing this again in, I think, 2 weeks' time. If you look on my website, we keep the schedule when these meetings will happen. And also this meeting has been recorded, and tomorrow will be on my website as an archive. So if you've talked to me and you want to listen again with a bit of distance, you can go to the website and you can find the archive. And there's also archives of other meetings. Good. Okay, great. Ciao.